Alright guys, so welcome to the next video. This is funding and finances for the US side. So, here's what we're going to cover today. First, we'll begin with the introduction to business credit. I'll explain why business credit is such a powerful tool for scaling without impacting your personal credit. I'll also touch on the different types of funding options available, like your own cash, business loans, bringing in partners, or my preferred route, 0% APR credit cards. Next, we'll go over setting up your business for fundability. So this section covers how to structure your business to make it attractive to lenders, including choosing a business name and positioning your business as low risk. After that, we'll dive into applying for business credit cards. I'll share my top picks for business credit cards, key tips for filling out the applications, and how to maximize your chance of approval. Next, we'll cover maximizing funding and credit limits. So I'll give you the strategies here to increase your credit limits and secure more funding so you can grow faster and handle larger expenses smoothly. Next, we'll discuss the strategic use of business credit. So I'll show you how to use business credit effectively for major expenses like furnishing, especially in our model, right? And then how to time your card usage to keep the 0% APR period active for as long as possible. Finally, we will look at the additional business credit perks. Here, I'll simply just explain how business credit can provide extra value through reward programs, cashback opportunities, and more importantly, points. So by using business credit strategically, you can turn everyday business expenses into additional revenue streams. It's pretty crazy, actually. You'll see. So, guys, as usual, warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. If you haven't caught on yet, they're all the most important video. So, watch the entire video. Don't skip. Don't fast forward. And pro tip, watch the video in 2x speed if you want. So, introduction to business credit. I'm actually really excited to dive into this topic because business credit has completely transformed the way I approach business growth. Over the last few days, I've been putting together this presentation, drawing from everything I've learned about how to use business credit as a powerful tool. I know business credit can seem complex, trust me, but once you understand how it works, it can unlock serious potential for scaling your business quickly and sustainably. When it comes to funding a business, there are several paths you can take, each with its own pros and cons. For example, you could rely on your own cash to cover major expenses. Not my favorite. This can work well in the short term, but can also leave you pretty strapped for cash, limiting your ability to respond to like another opportunity that will pop up, right? Another option is taking on a business loan. These can give you access to larger amounts up front, but they often come with high interest rates and long-term commitments. That kind of strains your finances if growth doesn't go exactly as planned. Another one you might consider would be to bring in investors or partners, which can give you access to funds without adding debt on your balance sheet. However, this option requires giving up equity and even maybe some decision-making power, right? Which can impact your long-term vision and control of the business. The reality, guys, is like with the right setup, you can build a lean business that operates efficiently and even like it operates on its own for the most part. So you don't really want to give away equity when the business can essentially run itself anyway with the right systems in place, right? Which leads me to the next part. In contrast, my preferred option, and the one we'll focus on today, is using business credit cards with 0% APR introductory offers. This approach allows you to finance significant business expenses like furniture, initial startup costs, without the immediate pressure of high interest payments. By carefully selecting the right cards, you can make use of these 0% APR periods to manage cash flow more effectively and keep funds available for other needs in the business. With this strategy, you get to access the necessary funding, all while maintaining complete control and minimizing costs. So guys, in this session, we're going to break everything down step by step. I'll walk you through how to leverage business credit to grow your business, from selecting the best cards, to maximizing funding, to structuring the applications, to even managing cash flow and timing your expenses. So it's going to be pretty big to make the most of the 0% APR period, right? So by the end, you'll have a clear roadmap to start using business credit and ready to fuel your business growth. So let's do it, guys. So before applying to business credit, it's essential to set up your business to maximize fundability first. So lenders evaluate specific factors when deciding whether to approve credit, and this is where the fundability thing, comes into play. So the more fundable your business appears, the better your chances of approval are, and to secure higher credit limits in general. To start, before anything, I recommend choosing a business name that is vague and doesn't really indicate a high-risk industry. For example, I named my business AWCO Housing, which of course flagged it as a real estate business. um, a category that banks often view as high risk, right? Certain industries like real estate or construction are generally like a red flag with lenders. Instead, a generic business name presents a lower risk profile and is more likely to avoid that scrutiny, which you really don't want at the very beginning, right? So the goal here is to choose a name that won't immediately suggest high risk operations, um, which gives you a smoother path for just a smoother path to get approved, right? So what you actually want to do is classify your LLC as a low risk entity. So this is a crucial step in signaling low risk to lenders. When you're setting up your LLC, I recommend choosing consulting, I always do, as your business type with the NAICS code 541611. There's a couple others you can look at that are also consulting, but I think general makes the most sense. This stands for General Management Consulting. Choosing consulting as your classification tells the banks that your business is low risk and makes them more comfortable extending the credit. So the low risk classification increases your odds of approval and can even improve access to higher credit limits. So it basically, guys, it's just a strategic move to present your business more steady and reliable to the bank, right? Finally, you do want to open up a checkings account. I know I said that in the last video too, but right now, Chase and Bank of America are two of the best options because they have very strong credit offers. I do want to bring up though, if you're planning to apply for credit with a specific bank, it often makes sense to start with the bank where you have a very long relationship, right? So banks are more likely to approve credit applications from businesses that have some sort of history from them, right, or the business owner. So leveraging an existing banking relationship can make the application process smoother and increase your chance of approval. But even then, like I still think the Chase and Bank of America is the best because they just have instant like they have the best cards. So moving on. Now that your business is set up, let's move on to the next step, which is how to apply for business credit cards effectively. So this is where you can really start tapping into the real benefits of that business credit offers. So let me just get this all up here. So the best cards to start with are those that offer 0% APR introductory periods. Okay. So these cards let you fund major purchases without the immediate financial pressure of paying interest. It's pretty crazy. So my top picks, honestly, this is the top picks of everyone in my network actually, are the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited, the American Express Blue Business Cash, tongue twister, and the Chase Business Cash. So these cards give you access to essential funding without the burden of interest, right? Making them great tools for managing cash flow and more importantly, scaling really fast. So the key here is timing. You only open these cards when you actually need the fund so you can take advantage of that full 12-month 0% APR period. So let's talk about some specific tips for the application process. Lenders consider several details. So getting these right can drastically help your chances on getting approved and getting higher limits. So the industry type specifically. So if your business category, like ours, arbitrage, isn't listed, just select other. This is what we want, just select other. This keeps your business classification open and low risk. Number of employees, I recommend entering 3 to 5, even if you're solo. Banks don't typically verify this detail, but it presents your business as more established and stable than it is, which is the goal, right? And annual business revenue. So be optimistic yet realistic when reporting revenue. From my experience, most people in my network have had success listing, like 125, 225,000. This range looks reasonable to banks as a newer company, and it also just helps demonstrate some sort of financial stability, right? Finally, let's talk about a strategy for maximizing your access to credit, which is applying for multiple cards at the same time. So when you do this strategically, the approach can boost your available credit lines without negatively impacting your credit score because you're doing it all at once, right? So by applying for several cards at once, you gain access to multiple 0% APR periods across the cards. It's crazy. So it gives you more flexibility, right? One last thing to consider would be balance transferring. So let's say the introductory period, the 0% introductory period is ending on one of your cards, and for some reason you haven't paid it yet. You can simply just transfer this balance to another 0% APR card to keep the debt interest free. This gives you even more flexibility, and you can just keep things rolling. You can keep scaling without adding any additional interest. So it's pretty crazy, eh? If you do this right, you literally are just getting free money to scale your business. And that's Now let's dive into how to maximize your funding and secure the highest possible credit limits. This step is all about positioning your business as financially stable as possible by playing the game their way so that banks feel confident in extending credit to you, although you're a new business. Can you tell I've helped people do this before? So, to start, focus on positioning your LLC as a low risk entity. One way to do this, which we've already discussed before, I'll bring it up super quickly again, I just want to drive the point home, is by framing your business as a consulting service. Consulting is generally viewed as low risk, and by using the NAIC code 541611, know it just in my head, um, you signal stability to the banks. So this classification just improves your odds of approval and access to higher credit limits just like that. So why not do it? Next, deposit funds into your business checking account before you actually apply for the credit. Super important, guys. So banks like to see businesses with stable cash flow. So aim to keep at least $5,000 in your account for at least 2 weeks, um, if not longer, right? Banks such as Chase and Bank of America tend to look more favorably on accounts with consistent balances. Ideally, maintain this balance for over a 30-day period. This builds trust with the bank and can improve your chances of receiving higher credit limits. Timing and account seasoning. So, guys, timing plays a big role in securing higher limits. For example, if you deposit $20,000 on December 31st, wait until at least February 1st before applying for a business credit card. By letting these funds season in your account for over 30 days, you're showing the bank a more stable financial picture, which can make them more willing to extend higher credit limits. It's all about demonstrating financial health and reliability, which will increase the bank's confidence in lending to you, right? Even if you're not quite there yet. It's just about playing the game, guys. You play the game right, we'll get you some big limits, okay? Anyways, guys, let's get into how to use business credit strategically to grow your business now that you understand the fundamentals. So in our Airbnb arbitrage business, setup costs or capex, whatever you want to call it, is the number one largest expense we face, right? Furniture and other initial expenses can eat up a lot of cash fast. By using business credit to cover these costs, you're able to keep your cash flow available for other essential expenses that you'll have anyways, right? Like security deposits, rent, unexpected operational costs, paying a furniture build out team, stuff like that. So it's critical to think about how powerful this really is, guys, if you do this right. If you take the wrong deal without securing a good concession, it can drastically impact your growth rate, even if it promises a solid return over the year. And it will give you a good return, right? It's just burn slow at the beginning. So unlike other models, such as software, where scaling doesn't always require significant upfront capital, like we need to inject capital continuously to keep scaling, and that can leave you strapped for cash, quickly if you're not careful. So that's the difference between a brand new and an experienced, and how I was able to grow so fast is exactly what I'm telling you right now. So with business credit, you can scale our high cash flow business without straining your finances, right? If you're able to negotiate favorable terms with landlords and suppliers, you might even be able to pay off the card within a few months. Essentially, you're growing your business on what's almost free money, guys. Free money. You're funding it with 0% interest, allowing you to reinvest in growth while keeping cash flow intact. So when you wonder how people like myself or others or so and so, whatever, like grew to so many units in a single year, like this is exactly how. Strategic use of business credit is the key to rapid, cash efficient scaling in this model. That's it, guys. Think about that for a second. You put $10,000 down on a 0% APR credit card, you get a good deal, you get 8 weeks free. You make that revenue back in 3.5, 4 months, maybe 3.5, because revenue is profit and profit is revenue for that. For if you don't have rent at the beginning, right? Minus cleaning or whatever. So you're essentially taking $10,000 from the bank to 0% interest, utilizing it, getting it back, and then giving it back to the bank. You just pay your credit card off, and you've just created yourself a cash flowing asset for 2 years. And that's all that I'm doing too, at a higher level, right? Just taking on bigger projects, doing the exact same thing, getting good deals, getting the money back in my pocket quickly, giving it back. Nothing changes. Even the biggest operators you can think of taking 3 units at once. Same thing, guys. Lastly, I just want to talk about some of the extra perks that we don't really bring up of business credit beyond just the obvious funding, right? So first up, rewards. Many business credit cards come with solid reward programs, guys. As you know, like some personal ones are like that too. American Express, like they let you rack up points and cash back when you just put up setup expenses, or anything else that works on the card, right? It's honestly like a money glitch. This is why you see people flying first class everywhere and getting top tier hotel upgrades and enjoying all this random, like all these perks, because they're just stacking points off their business expenses and there's nothing to even spend them on. Like, what are you gonna get? Gift cards? Like that's why, guys. You're literally making those costs work for you that you have to expense anyways. Another huge advantage that I didn't even talk about earlier is business credit doesn't even touch your personal credit at all. Balances and usage don't show up on your personal credit report. So like even if you max out a business card, your personal credit is like 100% good. Also, with 0% APR, since you're not paying interest, having a high balance doesn't impact your business credit score either. You could literally have a 0% APR card maxed all the way out, not even 1 cent available, and your business credit's still perfectly clean. And you're still getting those points, and you're still doing this, you're still doing that. So, guys, business credit isn't just about borrowing, it's literally about gaining and taking advantage if you do it right, because you have to expense this stuff anyways. So, guys, that's the end of this video. Let's get to work. You know how it is. Uh, yeah, this is the secret. This is how people are scaling so fast. I just gave it to you right here for free. You're utilizing the 0% APR credit cards. They're taking on the big startup CapEx expenses on the credit cards. They're getting good upfront rent concessions. They're putting the money back in their pocket quick, and they're paying back the card quick, and they're doing it again, and they're doing it again, and they're doing it again. Higher limits, bigger projects. That's how you go from 0 to 100, or 0 to 30, or 0 to 10, whatever. That's it, guys. I'll see you in the next video.